Today, I'm going to share with you why your freight broker cold calling script is not working, why freight broker cold calling scripts don't work. That's the topic of today's training. I'm going to share with you 4 reasons why cold calling scripts don't work. Now, there's going to be a lot of controversy around this because a lot of people believe that having a script is the best way to go. And I believe it depends upon where you are in your sales journey, right? Or you're very new to sales. Having some sort of a scripted outline, I think, is valuable. But again, it really comes down to the quality of the script and how you made the script. So first, I'm going to go over the 4 things, the 4 reasons why your cold calling script is not working. Okay. Number 1, your script is boring. They are boring. Okay. Remember something, people. You only get one chance to make a good first impression. That's it. One chance to make a good first impression. You can't afford to blow it with having a lousy script, a boring script. If they think you're boring, then you lose. If you're compelling, you have an opportunity to win. Because remember, you've only got about 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds to get their attention, to not be boring, to be compelling, to be relevant, to be contextual. Okay? So remember the whole AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. The first and most challenging part of any sale, particularly when you're doing cold calling, is getting their attention. You cannot afford to be boring. That's number 1. Okay? Number 2, they lack personality. All right? They lack personality. When you read a script that maybe you didn't write, or maybe you copied or pulled offline somewhere, that's not your voice. Number 1, you're going to probably sound like you're reading. Okay. Number 2, it wasn't necessarily written in your voice or in your personality or in your style. So the problem is, remember, personality is very important when it comes to building rapport. There's 3 stages that you have to achieve in order to get the sale: know, like, and trust. Knowing you is step 1, right? They've got to know who you are. That's easy. Hi, my name is, I'm with XYZ. Here's what I do. The know part is easy. Anybody can do that. The like part is a lot more challenging, right? And the trust is by far the most challenging. So the problem is, if your script doesn't allow you to show your personality, the challenge is going to be you're going to get them to the no phase, but you're going to fail in the like phase, because people like people. People do business with people. They don't do business with scripts. They don't like people reading things. And when you're reading something, right, it's very easy to tell that it's a script when it's not in your own voice, when you can't incorporate your own personality into it, right? So that was number 2. They lack personality. Number 3, you sound like everybody else. Now, let that sink in for a second. If you were a shipping manager and you got 10 cold calls this week from brokers, and they all sounded the same or pretty much the same based upon what they're saying, and they're saying pretty much the same script, because there's a whole bunch of very generic freight broker cold calling scripts floating around out there, and a lot of people just pull them up online and try to utilize them, and they see a lot of rejection because, again, you sound like everybody else. One of the most important things and one of the fundamentals of my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program, which I'll talk about in a minute, is you have to learn how to be different. Different is better than better. So it's very hard for you as a broker or an agent to be better at rates and better at communications and better at technology and better at service and better. It's hard to play the better game. It's hard to be better than everybody at everything, but it's not hard to be different. And so the problem is, when you sound like everybody else, you're going to get treated like everybody else. Okay. So number 4, because sales requires more than a magic cold calling script. I cannot tell you how many people over the years, and when I say how many, I mean hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, have come to me and said, "Hey, Dennis, Can you give me a script to get shippers, right? Can you give me a cold calling script that's going to help me get shippers? There is no magic script. There is no one size fits all script. Here's what you have to understand. Even a good script only gets you in the door. So even if you have a really good script and you do really well in your opening cold call, the problem is if you don't understand the fundamentals of sales and you don't understand the AIDA, right? Attention, interest, desire, action. If you don't understand how to go beyond that first step, you're going to run into a wall. In the first 5 to 15 seconds, all you're doing with that cold call intro is buying another minute or two to sell yourself into the next step, right? So just because you have a good opening doesn't mean they're going to give you the business. There's a sales cycle that you have to go through. So AIDA, right? So you have to understand attention, which is the cold call. How are you getting their attention? I've talked a little bit about that already. You got to be different, right? Stop being boring. And you got to build some personality and into it, right? Some of your personality into it. And then interest, right? This is where you have to learn how to ask good questions and, continue to build rapport throughout the process. You have to learn how to overcome objections. You got to learn how to close the sale without feeling or sounding like a slimy salesperson, right? Sales, if you're going to be effective as a freight broker and you're going to get customers, you have to realize that the magic cold calling script is not the secret. You have to understand the overall concept of how to take a prospect from not knowing who you are to becoming a customer. And that involves a lot more than just a cold calling script. So having a full understanding of not only the techniques and strategies, but having a working system, right? And so that's the reason why I put together my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program, all right? I put together my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program because there were so many people struggling with just trying to use some generic cold calling script that I took that piece of my brain and I put it into an entire 5-week coaching program, okay? Where I teach my best freight broker sales strategies, tactics, tools, and my entire system from A to Z, how I did over $200 million as a freight broker, okay? And it is a 5-week coaching program where I will coach you for 5 weeks, all right? Now, it's not open right now and you can't get enrolled, but it will be opening very, very soon. We're going to open it sometimes in February or early March. And if you want to get on the wait list, you got to go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/waitlist. It's the only way you can have an opportunity to be a part of the program. It's not a free program. It's a paid program. You're going to have to invest your time, energy, resources, and capital to be involved. But I can tell you that, we put over 500 people through that program. There's nobody that's disappointed at the end of it. We have a rating of over 9.2 out of 10 from the survey people that we surveyed after they complete the training, right? So it's an amazing program. I would highly suggest you guys get on the wait list. Again, I hope you enjoyed the 4 reasons why your cold call is not working, right? Why your cold call is failing. Again, number 1 is they're boring. Number 2, they lack personality. Number 3, you sound like everybody else. Number 4, because sales requires a much more in-depth understanding than just how to read a magic sales script. So if you enjoyed that, make sure you like, comment, and share the stream. Again, if you're curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, and you're just looking to get started in the startup phase, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. We've trained over 10,000 students, been in business over a decade, and we offer a 60-day, 100% unconditional money-back guarantee, no questions asked. Appreciate you guys being here. Have an awesome day, and make sure you join me next week for another Freight Broker Bootcamp Live.